strawberry ice cream, midsummer's daydream, sipping in between long days, warm nights, gliding like light kites, sapphire clear skies, whipped cream, cherry pies. Ooh, every year right around.
Good morning and welcome to my first day of my last week of being a UX designer for 2022. Today being Monday also means that it is a deep work day, which is just a great opportunity for me to get a lot of work done. So I want to be comfortable. But just in case I have any random calls coming in throughout the day, I want to make sure that I can just jump right into them. And that's why I am so happy this video is sponsored by Love Bonito. Love Bonito is a fashion powerhouse known for their modern, minimalistic, chic wardrobe basics and thoughtful designs that you can take from home to work to play. Working from home, it is super easy to get into a habit of just rolling out of bed and starting your day off and doing all of your work in your pajamas. But with Love Bonito, you don't have to trade comfort for style. Since their launch in 2010, there was no brand that centered their designs around Asian women and her body. I picked out 4 pieces that I knew I can incorporate really easily into my wardrobe, like this funnel neck knit top, high-waisted straight leg pants, shawl collar blazer with pockets, might I add, and my personal favorite, this ribbed knit turtleneck top that I usually like to pair with a simple necklace. I would definitely recommend Love Bonito for anyone who is looking for clothing in colors more flattering to golden or olive-based skin tones. Love Bonito creates flattering and feminine styles in simple, comfortable, crisp, clean cuts in monochromatic and earthy hues that fit your budget. Upgrade your closet with clothes made to fit you today with Love Bonito. Right now, Love Bonito has given me a special promo code to share with my amazing viewers. Go to the link in my description and use promo code LBXCharli for 10% off your first order of $130 or more. New customers who join the community will also receive a $15 off a welcome gift card with a minimum spending of $40 from now until December 30th. So for my deep work today, I am going to be updating our design system, which is a really good thing because I have been severely neglecting it. And today I am going to update some of our existing components with Figma's Boolean variants. So a Boolean is a data type where it can only be true or false. And in the case of our chip component, our Boolean is whether or not we show an icon. So true is going to mean that we are showing an icon and false means that we are not showing an icon. So Boolean logic can actually be really fun. I remember going into my first year of computer science and we had to take a first order logic course and I actually ended up really enjoying it. So this is the old way to do it by creating a separate variant, but it's not really necessary anymore now that we have our Boolean property. Actually, while I'm here, let's add the text property too and start with that. I'm going to update my current components with these new properties because I'm already using them across many of our design files and I want those components to be updated too. So first select the text and then scroll down to content and click the icon that looks like an arrow going into a diamond. You get this little pop-up and then we can add in a couple pieces of information. The first is what we want the label to be, so let's just keep it really simple and say text. The next input is the default, so whenever we create new chips, it will automatically be filled with this text. And for this example, I'll say chip text. So now when you create a new chip component, you'll get this text property, and if you change the text here, it'll show up in the chip you just created. I know this doesn't seem like it makes a big difference, but it's really useful when you have multiple chips because then you can select them and then update the text by typing it out only once. Next is the Boolean, which is pretty much the same thing. Select your icon layer and select the same arrow going into a diamond icon. Name your Boolean property show icon and then by default set it to true. That will make false mean to hide the icon. And that's it. Also, just make sure that auto layout is set up so the spacing doesn't look super weird when the icon isn't showing. Now you can do the same thing to other components in your design system like buttons, input fields, checkboxes, and statuses. I'm starting this morning off by prepping for my one-on-one. It is my last one-on-one with my CEO for the year, so I think it'll be a really good time for us to reflect about how I've done since starting at the company and also what I plan to do for next year for our design team and our design direction. So when it comes to planning for my one-on-ones, I do have a Notion career template or planner that I use a lot, and in there is a one-on-one tracker or a one-on-one review page, and I just like to duplicate that page from the last time that I used it, and then I'll just like read it and see if we missed anything or see if there's anything that we accomplished and just all that kind of stuff. And it makes for a really good reflection for me. So I started at this company in the middle of the year, and I'm not going to get too much into like reflecting on the projects and stuff on here, but I think overall I have just really enjoyed it and I really love working at this company. The one thing that I think has made the biggest impact on that is definitely feeling like I'm being valued for my creativity. Like, I strongly feel like I was brought onto this company because they thought I was creative and they wanted to hear my opinions and for me to share my experiences, and they liked the way that I problem solve. So like, just knowing that my team trusts me and believes in my creative ability and my problem solving ability is like so fulfilling and motivating for me to just build better products. So yeah, that's it for the reflection. But I think when it comes to goals, one thing that I definitely want to improve on is getting better at designing for AI. AI is just everywhere, and I really want to get better at designing for it because I think it'll just create such an interesting user experience for people, and I've never done it before, so I really have to get better at it. And with that also comes the desire to get better at microcopy. So microcopy, like, I just want to get better at writing it so that we can help our users more effectively. And I think when it comes to being a better writer, you also need to be good at reading and to read a lot. So that ties in really nicely with a personal goal of mine of reading more books and just prioritizing reading and storytelling more. Another thing, and I say this every year, is that I want to get better at animation, specifically micro animations. I do think I made some progress this year, but there's just such a long way to go. There's so much to learn when it comes to animation that I have a lot of work to do. And finally, as for the company, one goal that I definitely have for next year is to hire more juniors or interns. I think it'll be really great to add to the design team with just like new people, new ideas, and hopefully like they can take some of the stuff off of my plate so I can do some like other types of work or like more design lead kind of work. So yeah, I think that's it for my goals and for my reflection. So I'm working on drafting questions that I can use during my user interviews this week, but I do get some questions on Instagram asking, how do I recruit people for user interviews, or how do I find participants to interview or do user testing with? And in complete honesty, I do have it a bit easier because of a few different reasons. One of them is just that we already have an established product that people are using and testing and trying out on their own, so we have like email lists of people who have signed up. Also, I work in a company that's pretty good about supporting user research and user feedback, so it doesn't feel like so much of a battle. Like, I definitely experienced other companies where just trying to get into user testing and get some face-to-face time with users is literally like fighting a battle every single time. So the main way that I'm doing this right now is with an application called Mailshake, and I just started using it pretty recently, so I'm by no means an expert, but I really like it so far. Mailshake is a sales engagement and automation software, so basically I can set up different campaigns for whatever I'm trying to do or target. So currently I have 2 campaigns. One of them is for any new user who signs up to our product, and the other is for our power users. So people who are like very engaged with our application and using it a lot and just using it really often. So these 2 separate campaigns, each one of them starts with an email where I just say hi, introduce myself, and ask them for like a 30-minute user interview. Then in Mailshake, if they don't answer within like 3 to 5 days, you can set it. I will send them another email, and it's just automated and done for me. So I can just set it up and tell who to send it to, and then Mailshake will do it. So that has been like the primary way that I've been doing my user interviews and getting people to interview, but really it's just like cold emails. Another thing that I really like about Mailshake is the fact that they have A/B testing inside, like built in. So you can send like 2 different emails and see which one gets you better engagement. So yeah, it's just a lot of cold emails and following up if they don't answer in like a few days. I send like 2 follow-ups and then that's kind of it. I don't want to like bother the person too much if they really just don't want to answer. And sometimes we also do like Amazon gift cards that we give out for their time. It also means that I'm getting a lot more emails, so it's just an effort to reply to them, forward them to the right members of the team who needs to see it, and just like doing that kind of work. And I'm going to go into my sprint review now. Since we are a small company, we get together every couple of weeks to sync up on what everyone on the team is doing. And first we're going to do announcements like our Christmas party coming up and expenses for meals over the holidays. Then we can finally wrap up the year. I stopped working a bit earlier than usual in the afternoon because I knew this evening I would have a user interview with a user in a different time zone. It doesn't happen often and it's not that big of a deal, but that's just how I ended off my Tuesday. So today let's get to designing, and when it comes to designing for UI, I have been trying to incorporate more game components into our product just to gamify the experience and make it more fun for our users. And to me that really means more colors, visuals, animations, icons, and also thinking just like not all clicking interactions, but trying different methods of interaction and seeing how it works out for our users. So when I do this, I try my best to incorporate the feedback that we're getting from our users during our research process, and also thinking about other things that might inspire us. And when it comes to gaming, a lot of it has to do with me going back to some of my favorite games, one of them being classic RuneScape. I loved RuneScape when I was growing up. I was just like, think all the time at school about going home and like just chopping trees or burying bones or something, and that was just like the highlight of my day. I don't know, I played RuneScape kind of like how someone would play Animal Crossing, like a lot of fishing, tree chopping, and baking, I guess. And this is pretty rare, but like sometimes I do watch some gameplay videos and I take inspiration from what I find really interesting and really neat from them and see if I can incorporate them into our design somehow. So I'm going to design some really low fidelity wireframes, and then I'm going to film a Loom video so that I can kind of share my thoughts and do a walkthrough for our team, and they can watch it whenever they want to. And I'm also going to schedule a message in Slack so that I can share with the team and just hit them up in their time zone.
I couldn't fall asleep again. Been overthinking all the little things I've said. I'm sleep deprived almost every night, and I wish that I wouldn't think instead. I know the sun is up and I got things to do, but I don't think I've got the energy to move. And I go back to my dreams again, but I shouldn't be sleeping when it's daylight now and I'm stuck in my bed. Daylight now and I'm stuck in my head, 'cause I've been stressing out all on my own when I should make my way out. My home is daylight now, gotta open my eyes. Daylight now, can't be wasting my time. I'm just thinking about what I should be thinking of. It's about time that I get start staying in the same bed. I need a kickstart just to change this.
So I just finished a couple user interviews back to back, and I always get really nervous before doing them, but afterwards I always feel like they are so worth all of that nervousness. I think it's just because like I'm pretty introverted that I find these to be very stimulating, like overstimulating, even if it's on Zoom. It's like not only are you meeting someone new, but it's like they see your face, they hear your voice, and they also like they kind of see like the house. Like it's really weird because like I don't know, it's not something that you would experience if you were actually working in an office, but also like on their side, I'm getting used to a new face and a new voice and a new speech pattern and like their background and everything. I think all of those little things, like it's really overstimulating for me when I do these Zoom calls. So yeah, afterwards I always feel like they're super worth it, but then like 15 minutes later I kind of just like end up crashing and I just get like super tired and stuff. Kind of glad those are my only meetings for the day. I do feel like today is definitely more of a low energy day, which, you know, it happens and stuff. So if I have any more calls, I think with the internal team, I'll probably just keep my camera off. Yeah, so I'm thinking that today I'm just going to finish up by reviewing some Notion documents. So what we do instead of having sprints is change it into cycles. And I just said that, but I realized it kind of means nothing. So a sprint is usually like 2 weeks where you plan all the work that you want to do, and then you just work on it for 2 weeks, and then you plan again at the end, and then just keep going like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. But for the cycles that we're working in now, it's 3 weeks. So we do work for 3 weeks, and then we take 1 week as a cool down week where we can decide what work we want to do for our next cycle and kind of just like finish up any loose ends and stuff. And that has been really helpful because having that cool down week means that we're not just going sprint to sprint to sprint. And you know, it's really easy for us to get burnt out or exhausted. So I'm really happy that we started this change. I want to say like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, so that has just been really great. Anyways, when I say reviewing Notion docs, I mean I'm going to be reviewing the pitches that we have for our next cycle. So at this like cool down week, that's where we spend a lot of our time reading and reviewing each other's pitches, which are like pitches of the work that we want to complete in the next cycle. It usually like describes what kind of problem we're trying to solve, why we feel like we need to solve this problem, solutions, any risks. And another good thing about it is that we also note down any rabbit holes. So I'm just gonna do some reviewing, add some comments. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna do that today.
It's the end of the year. Everywhere on TV, couples and Christmas trees, gift wrapping and cheer. Just the worst time to be without someone special.
Alright, so today is my last day of work for the year, and I think today is going to be a really quiet one because most of my coworkers are already taking their vacation. So for this quiet day, I think I'm going to spend a lot of my time doing some self-study. And I just picked up this book called Microcopy, The Complete Guide, and I'm going to go through it. So usually when I'm reading these books for work, I don't try to read the entire thing all the way through because that is just not very effective for me, and I know I'm not going to retain any of that information. Instead, I try to read maybe 1 or 2 chapters while thinking about what am I going to do and how am I going to use this stuff that I'm learning in the book effectively for my current project. And in that way, like I'm just able to put into practice, understand it in a more like thorough sense, and then also show to my manager and my peers that I am improving and looking to improve. So that's how I usually like to go about reading for work. After that, I'm going to do some journaling and really reflect on the week that we just had together, as well as the entire year in general. In the middle of the year, I did end up changing jobs and I moved into my current job. Just the difference in mindset and like the attitude that I have towards my profession and UX in general has changed so much from the beginning of the year to now, and I just am so grateful that I'm able to work in my current company. So yeah, I think that's all for this video and for what I'm going to do today. I just want to say thank you again for watching my videos as always, and I love that we're keeping up with this tradition of like showing what the end of the year looks like. If you guys are interested in watching my video from last year, then I will put a card up in the video up here or up here, and I will also probably put it in the description box too if you guys want to watch it. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!